Yellowstone Park officials are stunned by this discovery that changes everything. There are many different kinds of natural treasure in Yellowstone National Park, but there are also many dangerous circumstances. At this national treasure, researchers made astounding discoveries that could fundamentally change the world. We want to share these incredible discoveries with you. Yellowstone has long been known for indigenous North Americans. The people have lived in the area for at least 11,000 years, according to archaeological evidence. Yellowstone was the first national park in the United States and is usually regarded as the world's first national park. The park is well known for its animals and several geothermal phenomena, particularly the Old Faithful Geyser, which is one of the most popular features. Yellowstone National Park has lakes, canyons, rivers, and mountain ranges spread across 3,468.4 square miles. Yellowstone Lake is one of North America's most spectacular high-elevation lakes, located within the Yellowstone caldera, the continent's largest supervolcano. The volcanic system was the most stunning discovery that changed everything in Yellowstone, and this is when things became deadly. Many Yellowstone visitors are unaware that the park's volcanic activity can have an impact on everything on the planet. The caldera is thought to be a dormant volcano. It has erupted numerous times in the previous 2 million years with immense force. Yellowstone is home to more than half of the world's geysers and hydrothermal features, which are driven by continuing volcanism. The majority of Yellowstone's land area is covered by lava flows and volcanic eruption rock. The park is the focal point of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem. There have been reports of hundreds of animal species, including birds, fish, reptiles, and mammals, some of which are endangered or threatened. The wide woodlands and meadows also contain unusual plant species. The megafauna habitat in the contiguous United States that is most well known and the largest in Yellowstone Park. Grizzly bears, wolves, and herds of bison and elk that graze freely all live in this park. The oldest and largest public herd of bison in the country is found in Yellowstone Park. The Yellowstone volcanic system began around 66 million years ago at the beginning of the Zoic era. The area that is now the park was covered by broad mountain-forming volcanic episodes, yet magma still rumbles beneath our feet now. The greater Yellowstone area has a shallow body of magma that is created by heat convection in the mantle, which causes plumes of magma to ascend through the mantle, melting rocks in the crust and generating magma reservoirs of partially molten, partially solid rock. Hotspot volcanism is caused by solid rock mantle pollution, which transfers heat from the deep mantle to the crust. Scientists have found a massive reservoir of hot, partially molten rock deep beneath Yellowstone National Park. This newly discovered magma reservoir is many times larger than the shallower, better-known magma chamber beneath Yellowstone, and it could fill the Grand Canyon 11 times over. Volcanic activity creates a trail when tectonic plates pass over them. Over the past 16.5 million years, the North American plate has been shifting westward, and the hot point beneath Yellowstone began to move the volcanic deposits on Idaho's Snake River plate. Due to the heat from the mantle plume, two magma chambers of potentially molten, partially solid rock were formed near Yellowstone's surface. Due to increased stress on the overall crust, newly formed faults eventually reached the magma chamber as a result of increased earthquake activity along these faults. When magma escapes, pressure within the chamber is released, allowing volcanic gases to escape and expand explosively in a massive volcanic eruption. The eruption spewed a tremendous amount of volcanic ash and gas into the atmosphere and produced fast, extremely hot, pyroclastic flows over the landscape, with the underground magma chamber emptying the ground above, collapsing, and creating the first Yellowstone's 3 calderas. This eruption, which occurred 2.1 million years ago, was undoubtedly one of the biggest volcanic explosions ever. The second significant volcanic eruption would occur about 800 years later, but it was smaller and took place within the western edge of the first caldera. It covered 5,790 square miles, with ash reaching as far as Missouri for context. The total volcanic material ejected is estimated to have been 6,000 times the volume of material ejected during the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helena's in Washington. 631,000 years ago, the third and last major volcanic explosion produced the current 30 by 44 mile wide landscape. The golden gemstone is known as Dara. Since then, 80 lesser eruptions have taken place, and the eruption that took place about 174,000 years ago built what is now the west thumb of Yellowstone Lake. During and after these violent eruptions, large lava flows of viscous rhyolitized lava and less substantial lava have been reduced. Since the last of 3 caldera-forming eruptions, pressure from the shallow magma body has built 2 resurgent domes inside Yellowstone, named Dara. The youngest of these lava flows is the 70,000-year-old pitstone rhyolite flow in the southwest corner of Yellowstone National Park. Dara magma in Yellowstone could be as near as 3 to 8 miles beneath Sour Creek Dome and 8 to 12 miles beneath Mallard Lake Dome, with both domes inflating and subsiding as the volume of magma and hydrothermal fluids beneath them changes. The entire caldera flows, lifts, or subsides for some extent, but not as much as the 2 domes, and net inflation has shifted the caldera flow to the south over the last century. Prior to 2005, when the caldera experienced a large uplift, potential ground deformation was investigated using vertical motion tests of ground benchmarks. The biggest vertical movement was seen at the West Lake GPS station, which is located inside the caldera. A meter-plus uplift of the entire caldera was discovered by research in 1985, which was unusual. However, if Yellowstone's volcano explodes again, the situation will be dire. The influence will be felt all around the world, but the closer you are to Yellowstone, the more affected you will be. This event has the potential to be 1,000 times more powerful than a typical volcanic eruption. It can last weeks or months and eject between 200 and 40 cubic miles of material. The lava flows will be restricted within the park within a relatively short radius of roughly 40 kilometers. Major explosions have the potential to completely destroy vast portions of Wyoming and Idaho and engulf the northern Rockies in 3 feet of ash. Colorado, while the Midwest and both coasts will have far less ash, Montana and Utah will experience a few inches. This volcanic ash poses a danger to people, plants, and animals. Even a few centimeters of ash can completely damage a building. Farms clog roadways, seriously affecting breathing. Many flights in North America will be grounded if sewer systems are blocked or even if transformers are shorted out. What about on a global scale? Will a large volcanic eruption in Yellowstone have a significant impact on the climate? Volcanoes can release sulfate aerosols that reflect sunlight back into the atmosphere and cool the climate. However, these particles can only survive for a short time in the atmosphere, so the effect is only temporary, but it can still be dramatic. For instance, when Mount Pinatubo erupted in 1991, the planet cooled by 1 degree Celsius. Remember, those were relatively minor eruptions compared to what a supervolcano in Yellowstone is capable of, and that the eruption will result in trillions of dollars worth of damage globally. For a few years, the Tambora eruption in 1815 was worse because it cooled the earth enough to damage crops around the world, possibly causing famines in some areas. However, there is currently no indication of an imminent eruption, so you shouldn't feel threatened or in danger due to a volcanic explosion in Yellowstone Park. The park still has tremors and the ground rises and falls, but this is nothing out of the ordinary. Did the discovery of Yellowstone stun you? What have you felt after knowing these discoveries? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. I hope you guys liked this informative video. So for more upcoming videos, quickly subscribe and hit the bell icon button to get notifications of the new and latest videos. Thanks for watching. We'll meet in the next video. Bye.